I am Marit van Ekelenburg. I'm a photographer of bugs and editor in my daily job, but this is what I love to do most.
Hello and welcome to Art, the podcast about women from around the world of visual arts. I'm Chris Stafford and this is Season 2, Episode 7. My guest this week is Marit van Ekelenburg, a macro photographer who specialises in photographing insects and spiders in their natural habitat. She seeks out her subjects in the early morning light, creating colourful backgrounds that complement each creature. Marit works as an editor and enjoys combining her skills as a writer and photographer to tell stories. But photographing insects is her favourite occupation. Marit was born in Udenhout in the Netherlands in 1988 to Henk, a mechanical engineer and entrepreneur, and Olga, a gardener. She has an older sister who is a psychologist and a younger brother who is an architectural draftsman. Marit was educated at Utrecht University and Leiden University, where she earned her master's in Russian studies and history. Her interest in photography developed a few years after graduating, and in 2018, she realised her true passion was learning the habits of the smallest of Earth's creatures and capturing them in larger-than-life images. Marit will be showing her work in an exhibition entitled Design by Nature at the State Museum Muiderslot from March 16th through May 12th of this year. Marit lives in Delden in the east of the Netherlands. Marit, welcome to the Art Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, you said you're a photographer of bugs, because I think of you as a macro photographer.
Yeah, I think macro photographer is maybe, even though it's a niche, I'm even more niche than that because I don't do flowers, I don't do small things, I don't do jewelry, I don't do like the typical macro stuff. I just do bugs and spiders. Don't forget the spiders.
Oh, don't forget spiders. Absolutely. It makes me wonder if you are that person who, if you have a bug in your bed, you would never kill it.
If it's a spider, then no. But if it's like your typical bed bug, then I might get rid of it, at least. Like I don't want bed bugs in my bed, but every time they're in my house, if they are in any way troubling or I think, hey, you should be outside, then I will just grab a glass and a little cart and put them outside. So no, I will not kill them.
Would you photograph them first?
Sometimes. I love it when jumping spiders visit my house. That is like always a welcome guest in my apartment. And they're just the cutest with their big eyes and just the way that they move that I'm always like, oh my God, a jumping spider. And like, I drop everything. So I'm watching a series or I'm on a call with someone that actually happened. I'm just like, wait, I see a jumping spider. I'll have to get back to you. Like, bye. And get my camera and see if I can get this little spidey to like go on a plant that I have all around the house or in a spot where I can photograph them and then place them outside afterwards.
Well, your photography is absolutely beautiful, Marit. I discovered you on Instagram and I was really taken by the detail, the depth of detail, and also the backdrops that you have for these bugs. We're going to call them bugs because they can be any type of bug. And it makes us see these bugs in a very different way, and they are visually very appealing, unless, of course, you have a phobia against bugs, which some people do, spiders or insects of any sort. But if you look at this visually, how appealing it is, because like birds, like any wildlife, the variety of color and detail and the anatomy is extraordinary when it's magnified to the extent that you do with your photos. Is this something that's always appealed to you since you were a little girl? Did you catch them when you were a kid?
I would love it, like, if that answer was yes. But actually, the answer is no, because I did love animals. Like, I was this girl who had her bedroom was like plastered with all kinds of posters of animals, of tigers, and like the big five, and just the big huggable, I guess, animals, but not so much insects. And I was actually a little bit afraid of them. And if there was like a daddy longlegs in my room, I would have to get like my dad to please like remove the daddy longlegs from my room, because they look so scary with their long paws and their like jittery, skittish way of moving. And it was just a bit frightening for me, even into adulthood, I must admit. So my relationship with bugs wasn't very good up until I started photographing them. So that's actually kind of funny how that happened, I guess.
And you started seriously in 2018, was it? So
yes,
you've been full on now almost 6 years. And where is your market?
Yeah, 6.
Yeah, where is your market for it then, Marit? Where are you selling your images for the most part and showing your work?
It's mostly, I started like sharing it on Instagram just as a hobby, as a side thing. And I noticed that people really responded to it in a way that I didn't expect it. And the way that I sort of make a living out of this, if that's what you mean, is by giving workshops in how to do this type of photography, how to photograph live bugs. And the photos itself, I don't sell like stock images or anything. I sometimes sell prints. I do that, but to say that that is like a very small part of where my income comes from.
Well, I want to go back, as you know, with the show, we always like to hear the long story, where it all began for you. And then we'll talk about where you're doing your photography now, because I know this you really have a wonderful environment to do a lot of this. But let's start at the beginning, Marit, because you were born in, how do you pronounce it?
Udenhout.
In the Netherlands in 1988. You're one of 3 children. So what was early childhood like for you? What were the fun things in life outside of school?
Oh, wow. We loved like playing outside with our bikes, pretending they were horses. And we would just make up all kinds of things to make the environment like interesting to us. So playing outside was such a vital part of my childhood, that is kind of the first thing that I remember. When I think about my childhood, it's like this street I grew up in, and all the neighborhood kids playing together, mostly outside. And yeah, I have a very good relationship with my sister and brother, always had. And we just had a very nice upbringing, I guess. Yeah, with yeah, it was just all fun and colorful and nice. I just have to, yeah, I think I can summarize it like that.
Ideal.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Your father, Henk, was an entrepreneur, and your mother, Olga, a gardener and also an artist. So tell us a little bit more about that. Is that an early influence for you? Was she encouraging you to do artwork? My
mom was very good at sewing. So she made all of our clothes, and very early on, I could tell like she had just this very, very good sense of what colors would match, and that was something that it would come back in everything, like in the way our clothes were made, but also in the gardening. And gardening actually came a bit later in her life. So we were like, I think it started, 1999-ish, early 2000s, when we moved to a different house with a bit of a bigger garden. And that is when her love for gardening actually started. And I love just seeing her like with no knowledge of gardening at all. And she just makes every garden, every space into such a oasis, like such a beautiful place. And especially the color matching, that was always very interesting to me, like how she was able to do that just so naturally.
Have you adopted that interest too in gardening, or just the bugs that are in it?
Yeah, I have to say it's mostly the bugs in it. I do love like spending time in the garden, and obviously I sometimes help out my mom when she needs it. But I always like come back to the bugs. It's this weird thing. It's just an addiction. It's awful.
When did the photography start?
Yeah, well, that has a little bit to do with my mom's work in the garden, because she has like this days where she opens the garden for the public, and she has this website, and she wanted to have some photos for her website, just very like, can you click some pics for me, Marit, please? And I never owned a camera, like outside of the compact camera that we maybe used for like holiday snaps or my phone, you know. I never owned a camera or a DSLR or anything like that. So she gave me this compact camera and set me out in the garden, and can you please click this some photos for me? Sure, Mom, I will do that. And that is when it happened. And I say it because it was still kind of strange to me, even now when I think back. I started clicking those photos of the flowers, and I got distracted by what was happening inside of these flowers. And I saw bugs that I never saw before. And it was like something had opened my eyes, that I was like, hey, these bugs are here all the time. And I just now find out, it's now that this late in life, I find out that these are like super cool creatures. And okay. So I completely sort of abandoned the project I was set out to do. My mom still teases me about this, by the way.
Did you get fired from the job then?
Yeah, I think you could say that in a way, but all in good spirit though. But that was the moment that I was like, hey, what is that? And like my curiosity just took over, and there was this spark, and that it never left me. And from that moment on, I wanted to know everything. So I started reading, I started going into scientific articles. I want to know everything about photography as well. And I just dove in head first and never looked back. I bought a camera, like, I think that week or something, like very soon thereafter. And I started photographing. Super crappy, of course, because I didn't know what I was doing. But once I find something that is like lighting a fire in me, I cannot let go, and I just want to know everything there is. And so that is how the journey started for me. Pure curiosity, you could say.
But you've become something of an expert, I would imagine, on insects, because you've studied them so much. You're photographing them in different scenarios.
Entomologist, yeah, that could be, but I would never describe myself as such. That is, there are people who study like for years to earn that title, I'd say. So I'm an enthusiast, I would say. I love like finding out everything about them that I can, and also to better understand them and to better so like be able to capture their character in a way, because that was my goal from like the get-go. That spark that I felt, that enthusiasm that I suddenly had for bugs, that was something that I wanted to show other people, and I wanted to like pull them towards that same enthusiasm. So in order to do that, I wanted to be able to portray them in the best way possible. And for that to happen, you need to know a lot about them, because, you know, photographing live insects is not an easy task. They move a lot, and it's just very hard to get all the details, and you have to know when they're like sitting still, and you have to study their behavior. So it's not just photography you're doing, but it's a whole like that's what makes microphotography such a challenge, but also a pretty hard genre of photography.
So you've really become a knowledgeable enthusiast of insects as well as being an excellent photographer. But was there any interest in art forms when you were in school, when you were as a child, Marit? What was the background to this? You know, the fascination for the detail that you now focus on. No pun intended.
That's interesting. I'm trying to dig into, but I cannot really. I don't know if there's anything to compare to this. I do have like these. When things happen in my life where I feel some enthusiasm or I want to know everything about a certain subject, that is sort of in me since childhood, but I don't know if it's specifically art related, if you know what I mean. I do I feel some competitiveness in a way that okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this right. You know, I want to know everything before I start putting it out there, I guess, in a way. But I wasn't super into art or anything. I mean, I love to draw and paint, but just like any other kid would. It was not like, oh, I want to become a painter, or I don't, that backstory is not so romantic for me, I guess. It was just this weird spark that happened, and it just stayed with me.
Well, you went on to university to study history and Russian studies, but what were the subjects that interested you when you were a small child in primary school and middle school?
Math.
Interesting. Yeah.
Weirdly. Yeah, I think so too. It's I also studied math in university for a year, but then I decided, okay, maybe this is not my thing. But I love the sort of way that numbers work. I love the answers that I would get out of them. So I did like math. Once I understood it, by the way, because there was a time that I didn't get math at all. And that was when it sort of failed me. But what did, and now I'm sort of trailing back and think, hey, I didn't dig in that part. And that's definitely creative as well, just not really visual, but writing. I always loved writing. As a kid as well, I wrote stories, always about some sort of fantasy land, with wolves, with animals, with spirituality. Like, I love this kind of fantasy stories. So in writing, I would say that creative part was definitely there. And I also do that in my job now as well, because I'm an editor at a newspaper, and that is like my daytime job. And I write about insects with these photos to, sort of get a wider public, get acquainted with insects. Yeah.
Could you see a day when you're actually writing stories and illustrating them with your photos?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I'm in a way already doing that with the articles. But I could imagine maybe one day publishing my own book with like the photos, and it would most probably be like some kind of a children's book. I would love to do that. Because you see, that is so interesting that kids love insects. Like, they think they're so interesting and like colorful. If the parents like are not afraid of insects and not like inducing some kind of fear on them, I don't think it's really natural to be super afraid of bugs unless like something happened that you got scared of them. Which is actually strange, because I myself was a bit scared of bugs, but my parents are not at all, and both of them like are fine with bugs. So I guess sometimes it just happens, I guess.
I guess the bugs in the Netherlands are fairly harmless anyway, right?
Oh, yeah. They're nothing. Like in Australia or America or like India, like wherever, they are way bigger and sometimes poisonous, or they can bite, or like they don't do that often anyways, but in the Netherlands it's like really tame. That's if you're a bit scared of bugs and you want to start photographing them anyway, the Netherlands is like a perfect to start.
Good place to start. So as you were going through school, did you have an idea what you wanted to do professionally, that is, as a career?
Oh yeah, no, not really. I always kind of went where my interests were at the time, and I would just follow my interest. And at that time, when I was 18, I really loved history. Just wanted to find out everything about whatever happened like in the past. I would always feel like everything that happened in the past is now what we live through. So I always felt that it was very connected to the present. And yeah, so I just followed that, and Russian studies came in later. That was my master's studies. And there I loved the Russian literature. And it was sort of like, okay, I did a few subjects with Russian history, Russian literature, and it was sort of like, okay, what to do next? Let's go with this master. So that is somehow how I go through life a bit, just following whatever catches my interest. I'm a person who gets bored quite quickly. So whenever something interests me, I feel like I have to grasp it and go for that, you know?
Well, being Dutch, of course, you can speak at least 2 languages, but do you speak Russian at all now, having studied Russian?
No, it was like it was an English spoken study. But I did study Russian, but please don't ask me. I can read the Cyrillic. I can read Cyrillic, but it's very like it's some years ago, and if you don't keep studying it, and if you don't practice it, it's gonna go away really quickly. So no, it's Dutch and English for the most part. Some German, some French. We get to teach to learn that like in high school. So yeah, that's a thing. Like in the Netherlands, you learn a lot of languages.
And also, you're immersed in Europe there in so many different art cultures as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Was that something that interested you? Did your parents take you to galleries and museums and teach you the art history of Europe?
Yeah, they're probably going to listen to this, but not really. It was we were not that kind of family. I think my mom like wanted to be. And my dad too. Like whenever we were in like on holiday or something, we would visit museum and stuff, but it was not a regular thing for us to do that as a family. No.
So graduating then from university, did you have a clear vision of what was next?
Again, I have to disappoint you, Chris, because no, I did not. I just felt like, okay, let's see where the wind blows me, and it will be something cool, I'm sure. Like I'm never that much. I'm not much of a person who is like, oh, where are you 5 years from now? Like, I have no clue, and I don't even want to know. I want to be surprised, let me just go with the flow and see where it leads me. Which obviously also has its downsides, but I don't know, this way always got me at very beautiful and very nice places, meeting the most amazing people. So I'm like, okay, let's just go with the flow. So that's what I did after my studies as well. And I thought, you know what? I was going back to my hometown. I studied in Utrecht and Leiden, and I I lived there for 8 years, I think. So I came back to my hometown of Delden, which is in Twente. It's in Twente. I wanted to do it in English. And that's in the east of the Netherlands. And it's where I grew up. And I was back there. I was like, okay, now what? And I was doing some writing. So I had some articles in art. No, not art, sorry, history magazines. And that was fun. So I liked the writing part. And I thought, hey, let's see what the regional newspaper, if they need people. Like, I like writing, I like the newspaper. Let's see. So I just wrote them like this ridiculous job, like there was no job opening. So I just wrote them this piece of like, hey, this is your new employee in the style of the like their website. Like it was a news article, and that they hired this person, and that was me. I was just having some fun, and it was like, hey, can you come tomorrow? I'm like, sure. And I never left.
That's
just
wonderful.
A story.
What a great story.
Yeah, it was actually kind of fun. Like at that time, it was very hard to get a job. So people were doing all these sort of crazy things to try to land a job. Like it's different now in the Netherlands. Like there are a lot of jobs out there. But back when I was trying to get a job somewhere, it was super hard. And all the other things that I like tried out for, it was like, oh, I don't want to do this. Like, why am I even writing this? And I just thought, I think working at a newspaper could be kind of cool. Like, it's writing, it's new every day. It's you're working with news, you're working with like writing and words, language. I love language. Like, let's try it. Let's try it. Let's do it. And just I went with this sort of out of the box way to get their attention, and I guess it worked.
Yeah. There's Marit's message to all you graduates out there. Create your own job and tell your employer why they need to hire you.
Yeah.
That's perfect. So this job that you're doing now, you're writing and you're using your Illustrator, you're writing about insects. Tell us a little bit more about it.
I started doing this in 2020, and that was actually when I was at a point with my photography that it was becoming a bit stale, in a way that, like, okay, yeah, I like doing this a lot, but what is anyone like getting out of it? What am I getting out of it? I want to do more with this. Let's show the public, and let's do more. And one of the people at work, one of my coworkers who was writing on nature, he took a step back, so he went in writing less. And that's when a coworker of mine told me, like, hey, you make these super cool photos of bugs, and you can write. Like, you have such a cool writing style. And I'm an editor. I'm a text editor. So maybe you should just see if you can get like a series or something about insects. Just go for it. I was like, yeah, maybe I should. I don't know. Like, I was a bit doubtful. And my boyfriend said the same as well. Like, why didn't you go like for writing? It's ant writing, and it's about insects, and you would do so great at it. Just go for it. So I had a lot of like motivation from outside, and just a bit doubtful, I guess, myself, maybe a bit insecure. But then I just stepped over it and was like, hey, okay, let's do this. And I wrote to my chef, to my editor-in-chief, and like, hey, this is maybe something that would be cool for the nature page in the newspaper, and I could write something like this or this. What do you think? And I think the same week I got a response like, "Whoa, super cool! That is like your photos are awesome. Your writing style is cool. Let's go for it." So it just happened, and then I had like this returning series every month of writing about insects. That is how that went.
And your brother, he's a drone photographer, isn't he? So do you have anything in common in terms of, your interests in photography, or is it because it's so completely different? Can you have a conversation with him about photography? Do you help each other?
No, it's not really, I think in this way, a sort of a shared passion, because it's so far, like there's photography of the small things, and there's like he does videos mostly of architecture, so it's so like it's very different, but obviously it's amazing to see a same sort of passion for imagery, and the crazy thing is that it actually should be opposite, because he is the one who is so like fantastic to details. Like he knows things and always pays attention to the smallest details, where I don't feel like I ever really had that. Like now I have it because I'm sort of focused on it. But so it's funny that he is now the one who is like zooming out and I'm zooming in.
It's a good way to put it. Absolutely. So what has this work taught you in macro photography? What has it taught you about yourself?
That I need to trust myself more, I guess. Like doing macro photography is a typical thing that you mostly do alone. You do it alone, outside, very early in the morning. That is my favorite time to do macro photography, especially because the bugs are like sitting still mostly at that time. It's so peaceful, and there's just such calmness about it, such like a serenity. And in that moment, I always feel like, wow, it doesn't matter whatever happens with my photos, or like I'm not busy trying to get that shot, or like, oh, I have to do this or that, or I want to grow on Instagram, or like my busy mind is like not present at that time. I am with the bugs at that time. I'm making a connection with them. I see them as my sort of fellow beings in this world. And that's just so magnificent, so fulfilling. And I think that being there, and that always being there, is a sort of constant that I can always fall back on. Like it will always be there to sort of catch me when whatever, like if things are not going so well, or if things are, it's just a beautiful constant of nature and her serenity, I'd say.
Has it made you more patient, perhaps, or is that something you always been a quiet, still, easy to slow down, patient person?
That is terrific. It definitely helped me be more patient, and also be more accepting of what is. Because, you cannot steer, you cannot command insects, you cannot tell them what to do. They are. And they will do whatever they damn please, and I love them for it. Like, you have to go with them and just accept what it is. And of course, I'm not some sort of saint who sits like still and like, okay, never gets frustrated. That's not the case. Obviously, I also will get frustrated at times, but very soon it's like, yeah, that frustration is not going to help me get anywhere. So it's sometimes, oh, it's moving. Like, oh, it was so perfect before. Oh, well, thank you for your time, Mr. Insect, Mr. Weevil. Go on your day. And just like, it makes me more like accepting of what is.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
And you choose the most beautiful backdrops too, Mary.
Oh, thank you.
You photographed it in your mother's garden,
Yeah.
and so you set that up. You have a diffuser, so we're not just looking at the insect. You've created an interesting, colourful backdrop as well, which complements each insect.
Yeah. You put that so beautifully. Yeah, I see them as a sort of how do you call people again when they're actors in the background?
Extra.
They are the background figures, I'd say, and the main role is for the insect. Those are the main actors, but I want to capture them like in their environment and how they would see their environment. So there's a lot of things going on. I don't want to get that idea of like, hey, I'm here with my camera and I'm photographing a bug from above, like the way I would see them. No, I want to get on the same eye level as them and look at them straight and see like, hey, this is a creature that I share this planet with. Hello. Who are you? Like, I want to get that sort of sense that they also have a right to be here and that they are their own insect, their own character. And how can you do that better than by placing them in a beautiful, colorful environment that they're most of the time already in? So all that I do is sometimes like getting dahlias. I love dahlias, and my mother has like many different species of dahlias in the garden, and I just place them like behind the insect, just a few centimeters, just to get that color. I don't need specifically the shapes or the petals. Sometimes the insect itself will be on the flower. That's a different thing. But if they're just in the background, I just want that color to be there, because that is what it will feel like for them as well. Like, that is their world. It will be huge. Like, if you're in a room, it will be like the size of your room. That is their environment. That is their own tiny little planet. That is so fascinating. Like, have you ever thought about it? Like, if you would be that small, I mean, there are plenty of books and plenty of ideas about this. Like, what would a petal look like? So sparkly, and like the structure, how will that be? And those insects live that every day. Maybe not as in a way that we would, like, so aware of ourselves and aware of our surroundings, but still, that is what they see. That is their world. And I guess I want to show that to people, like, see this cool world and all their...
Well, that's what they're going to live off, isn't it, too? I mean, the colours mean something to them in terms of what is food or what is not food.
Yeah, and it's also very interesting to me, like, every insect has like these weird quirks that I read about, and I was like, what? How? Why? I never knew this. Like, why do they do this? And tasting is one of those things. Like a housefly, for instance, will taste with its paws. That is why it's constantly rubbing its paws to get off everything that is disturbing their taste sensors. So they walk on something, and when they walk, they're tasting. That is just, I never knew that. Like, before I started photographing, I didn't know why they would like rub their paws and seem to be like plotting something evil, you know? You know what I mean? Those flies that rub their front paws. That is why they do that.
Yeah, exactly. You might wonder what in fact they are going to do, if it's combative, or what the purpose of that is.
Yeah, that is how they sense the world. Yeah,
exactly. So going back to these bugs now, in terms of, you know, the potential of the work that you do, where do you see it going? Or as you said earlier, you don't always have the answer, and you don't always want to know the answer. But do you have anything on your bucket list at this point that you want to do in this world of macro photography?
Well, I did have like something on my bucket list, but that's like about to be crossed off in a like positive way, because I felt like what would be the best way to sort of make people really connect with insects in the way that I would want them to, and like a solo exhibition would be like, wow, that would be something that I would really love to do. And this summer, somebody contacted me and asked if I wanted to do just that. So I am now preparing for my first solo exhibition, and it's in a big castle. It's a museum in Muiden, and it's like this medieval castle that is also a museum, and people go there, and you can see my pictures there, like my photos there very soon, very big. So people are gonna really come face to face with insects, and that has been a dream, and now it's kind of coming true. So that's really awesome.
Yeah, that really is. Congratulations! And I can just imagine this, Marit. When you blow these photos up, these macro photos in large format, you've got this big bug with this big bug eyes staring at you, but detail is absolutely gorgeous. So we're following you on social media, of course, on Instagram, so we can see those pictures ourselves, even the small version of the large format of your macro. Yeah. I'm thinking also the book too. There has to be a book there.
Yeah, I did already like co-write on some books, one on typically the photography of certain species, and one other book that is about to be published this April, really about macrophotography. And I just wrote a few chapters in that one. So there is some work being done, but more on like the process. But I would really love to focus more on the art side of things. So maybe, hopefully, these are all things that that I would love to do. And again, I will just see where the flow takes me, and enjoy the ride and the adventure.
I can see that you are enjoying the ride. Okay, so here's a quiz question for you. How many different insects have you photographed?
I don't know. I think 50, maybe. Not that many, actually, because like I love damselflies. So I have thousands of shots of damselfly portraits. They're so amazing and funny and endlessly fascinating to me. So I will just like photograph the same one over and over again until I get just that look, or just that like, yes, this is how I want to show you to the world, and I just can't get enough of them. So I'm not really hunting for species, if you know what I mean. I'm not here to like register them. Like there are many, many people who already do that, and they do amazing work. But that's not really my goal, to get like as many species as I can. I do like love it when it happens, and I happen to see like a rare species of weevil, for instance, that I haven't seen before. That's always exciting, and I love photographing them as well. But I don't mind photographing. I don't know how many. Again, like a housefly, like again the same species of bee. Like it's all about the portrait, and I think they all say something different, even though they might look the same. But to me, they don't. Like they're little individuals to me.
Well, you obviously love these little individuals, and I can imagine you being, very quiet and understated as a person. But I'm wondering if you have a superpower.
I don't feel like I have some sort of superpower, but I have to say that other people do think that I have. They call me like a bug whisperer or insect whisperer, because they have tried photographing bugs themselves, and they say that it's pretty much impossible, what I do. It's not, I guarantee you it's not. It's just like a lot of practice goes into it. But I do understand that sort of feeling, I guess, of being able to get these bugs to sit still for you, because people always imagine bugs to be so much like moving around, and they always fly away when I come near, and like I've heard this so many times. But it's not a superpower. It's just taking the time to understand them, and that will help you in getting shots like this. But if I have to have a superpower, it would definitely be something along the lines of being able to talk to them and to communicate with them.
The insect whisperer. This I can see why they're calling you that.
Yeah, that is a wonderful title that fills me with joy and pride if people call me that, for sure.
Well, you are making wonderful, wonderful images, and I want to wish you the very best with the exhibition and future books. And we'll be following you on Instagram. And if anybody wants to contact you directly, of course, we'll put your Instagram on our show notes, as always. And is there any other way that you would like people to contact you, Marit?
Oh, through Instagram, or my website is all good. If you can find me best, I think, through email. Sometimes the DM is a bit overloaded.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck with your future photography and everything that you're doing around it.
Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you for taking the time to come on the show.
You're such a gracious host and so nice in your questions. So thank you. Thank you for a lovely conversation.
Be sure to scroll down the show notes where you'll find a link to Marit's website and to her Instagram account. There's also a link to our Instagram account too, at the Art Podcast. That's Art with 2 A's. You can also find us on Facebook at Art. And of course, always leave your comments, questions and suggestions. We love to hear from you. And you can also reach us via email at hollowellstudios@gmail.com. And don't forget that if you listen on Apple Podcasts, to please leave us a 5-star rating and a review, because that boosts our rankings and therefore helps others find the show. And if you know anyone who might enjoy the show, then do share it with them. And again, please do give us a follow on Instagram. Also, coming up on the show, I will be talking to the miniaturist artist Tamar Cohen, the representational artist Felicity Joy Starr, and the cake artist Anna Eccles. So I hope that's whet your appetite, and you'll join me again next week. My thanks again to my guest, Marit van Ekelenburg, and to you for listening.